everybody, welcome back to Life as a Law Student. As you know, if you've been here before, my name is Nicole and I am a 2L at Washington University in St. Louis. I have a new friend with me here today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Alexis Robinson. I am also a YouTube vlogger, trying to get into the vlogging world. I go to SLU, St. Louis University, also in St. Louis. I'm a 1L.
We met each other on YouTube and we're like, hey, we have literally everything else to do, but let's film a video.
Yes, why not?
Today we are going to be doing a two-part video. This is part one. Congratulations, you found it. Part two is going to be over on Alexis's channel, but make sure that you watch the whole of this video first so you understand kind of what we are doing. So our idea for today was to compare and contrast our various experiences going to school in St. Louis during COVID, coming into different areas of law. So hopefully you guys will get a variety of perspectives on a variety of legal topics today. Our first topic is SLU versus WashU. Who's better? Just kidding. We all know the answer.
But do we?
So obviously both of them are in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just tell me if you like SLU or not? I mean, have you even been on campus yet?
I have been on campus. So I grew up in St. Louis. I left St. Louis. I always knew that there were two law schools. I knew that there was WashU and there was SLU, very close to home and close enough for me to just like have the choice of the two. And I ended up choosing SLU because of the programs that they had, and they were more what I was interested in law-wise. I'm interested in the health law program. SLU has a really good health law program, like that's one of their top programs, and so they really push like clinics in the health law, and they have just the partnership with the hospital makes it a lot easier to get experience. And so that's really why I chose SLU at the end of the day. And then also the price tag, WashU versus SLU. SLU's price tag was just slightly more appealing.
You are not wrong.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it is law school, so they're both
ridiculous.
Yes.
That's really interesting. I literally just met Alexis today, so like,
Yes.
I know nothing about her.
Yeah, so
you
we're
guys are
learning as you guys are learning. It's great.
but that's really cool that you want to do that. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I don't know that WashU has anything with health law. I've never heard of that.
I really
Which
didn't
surprises me because WashU's med school
They
is
also have
such a big thing.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I never really thought about looking at a school for its particular areas of law because every school teaches criminal law.
Exactly, yeah.
I did look at, though, the clinics and what that said about the school's priorities. So WashU has, I'm going to get this number wrong. I want to say more than 10 clinics, which is quite a lot for law schools. Most schools that I looked at when I was looking for law schools had like 3 to 4.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure SLU has 3.
Right. So, and that's fine, especially if you are wanting to do a public interest law like the Innocence Project or immigration law or housing discrimination or something like that. Those are really common clinics because they're common needs for all communities pretty much. What was really difficult for me to find in a law school was a prosecution clinic or an appellate clinic or a post-conviction relief clinic, things that had to do with criminal law. And if they did have one, it was one, whereas WashU had like 3 to 4 criminal law focused ones. So that was really appealing to me, and next semester I'll actually be working in the prosecutor's clinic,
awesome.
so I'm super excited about that. What made you interested in health law?
So I really just kind of got interested. I was just one day Googling like what kind of law should I do, like what's interesting. At one point in undergrad, a long time ago, I was a nursing major, so I've always like kind of been drawn to the health field, and then I obviously am now on the law on the law track, so the two just kind of interwove.
Did you know that you wanted to go to law school before you wanted to do health law specifically?
Yes.
That has always been a thing I don't understand,
Yeah.
to be totally honest with you, because I was actually telling you before we started filming, I am only in law school because I have to be a criminal prosecutor. Like, it's just a necessary step in my journey to get there.
Right.
And so I never understood really how people would get into law school and then decide what they want to do, because law is such a broad field. So I would love for you to enlighten me on that.
Yeah, so I said I was on the nursing track, and that really just like wasn't working out. I was not as interested as I thought. Honestly, don't like blood, so
might be a deal breaker.
Yeah, that was a deal breaker. So I was like, always been interested in like the criminal justice shows on TV. So I just was like, okay, let me look and see what this entails. I just decided to go for it, and then slowly down the line, I decided like health law is probably what I would want to practice.
You're only in your 1L year, so I know you haven't done anything probably health specific yet.
Not yet.
Have you gotten a sense of whether SLU will kind of motivate and encourage you in that area?
I really think they will. So I said that I haven't done anything health related, but I just joined the health law organization at SLU. Okay. So eventually I will start doing more. With COVID and everything, we've only had one meeting, so I haven't really gotten a ton of exposure, but it's on the way.
I might have talked about this before on my channel, but probably not in much depth. WashU definitely does not push government positions or really public interest in general.
Interesting.
As a top 20 school, and I don't say that to like brag or anything.
No, it's just a fact.
It really wants people to go into big law. It wants people to do clerkships. It's pushing activities that are going to make its own rank go up, which is understandable, not like a crazy goal for a school to have, but it really did not align at all with my personal career objectives. And so I found that if you go to especially a top 20 school, it's going to push you to do those big law type jobs, or to go for like, I don't know, the judicial bench or something. Right now, I really just want to get in the courtroom as soon as possible. And I don't think that WashU really was a big fan of that. Not like, no, you can't do it. But you're going to get less help.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's such a broad field of law. I mean, I have said this before, you don't need to go to a top 20 school to get a great job.
Right.
Anywhere. You could get a great job literally in any area with just going to like any decent school, which there's probably 100 of them. It's something to keep in mind when you're considering schools is this school have a lot of people that are going into that field of law, and are they going to encourage you and provide you with opportunities to pursue it? Or is it going to be more of a self-guided journey to that career path?
That's good advice.
You mentioned that you were going into the health law student organization. Have you managed to join any other organizations?
Yeah, so I joined the Black Law Student Association at SLU. And then I have a few that, like, when I hear about the meetings, I'll go to them. I didn't want to join a ton of organizations and overwhelm myself. So those are the two that I'm going to be most involved in. And then I also want to keep an eye on the criminal organization, and there's a first year organization, and that's just kind of like networking resources for like not necessarily first generation law students, but it's geared towards first generation law students.
Yeah, I think we have a group like that. Couldn't tell you what it's called, but it's for people who haven't had any like professional family members or like professional school graduates in their family, which it is sort of my case. I definitely don't know anyone in law school. We don't have like doctors or engineers or anything like that. My dad has a master's in occupational therapy, but that's not very helpful. As far as student organizations, I am really involved as one of the board members for Young Advocates for the Incarcerated. It's a very school-specific organization that me and some other people in my class started last year to kind of point attention to the incarcerated population in St. Louis. I also am like in criminal law society, which would make sense.
Yeah.
I really recommend that when you go into law school, or if you're already in law school, you don't sign up to participate in as many organizations as possible, but you do sign up for as many email lists as possible, because you can always like go to an event whether or not you're helping putting it on. And I think it's good to get a wide spectrum of opinions and perspectives on what's going on in the broader legal field as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can you just kind of explain why prosecution?
Yeah. I mean, I never wanted to do anything else is the easy answer. I always loved the law. I loved figuring out what's fair. I liked when people were held accountable to the actions both ways. Like if someone did something good, I wanted them to be rewarded for it, and if someone messed up, I wanted that mistake to be addressed and fixed. And I am not saying that our current justice system always does that or ever does that necessarily, but it is the system that we have and the rules that we have to work around for now until we can come up with a better set of them. And so I figured if we have this like set of rules, you know, imperfect as they might be, I want people who have my morals and values to be the ones enforcing them and deciding how to implement them. So a lot of people have said, you know, like, well, how can you say like you want to change the system if you're just going to work for the system? I'm like, well, who do you want to work for the system? Like all the people who think it's fine.
Change starts from within. You have to be in it to be able to change it.
Yeah, I want people to be socially conscious that are going into those positions, and I do my best to be that kind of person. All right. So it's been a minute since I was a 1L. I mean, not that long, but to me it feels like forever ago, especially with the current world situation, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I remember I definitely had favorite classes. I definitely had not so favorite classes as a 1L. What are yours?
So, if you've watched anything on my channel, you know I am not the girl for contracts. Contracts is not my class. Not good at it. I don't understand it. So that's one of my least favorite classes. My favorite and least favorite have been broken down into classes that I can understand and grasp, which have been the classes like torts and crim law.
Oh my gosh.
Civil procedure, it's kind of on the fence. Like I have a midterm on Monday, tomorrow, and I'm feeling okay, but I don't understand it the most. So that one's kind of and those are the only ones that I've really done so far.
I'm surprised you guys are taking a different schedule of classes. Than we did. So what all are you taking? It's just what you just said?
Yeah, just what I've said, and then we have like a legal research and writing class, and then an intro class, which just kind of like teaches us how to like be a law student.
Oh,
so
cool.
that one I don't really count, and then my legal writing class, like I feel like every 1L has to take it.
Yeah,
so.
I mean it's structured differently depending on where you go. At WashU, we had a separate legal research class from a legal practice class, which was just legal writing, and then like one oral argument in the spring semester. But I think it would have been better to combine it into one class, especially because we only got like one credit per those, and they were like by far, or legal practice took most of my time for sure. Like, this is ridiculous. I'd rather get like 2 credits and just combine them and like focus on them all year, because as much as I didn't like those classes, I think they are the most important thing you learn your 1L year, because you need to know how to legally research. You need to know how to do legal research and legal writing your whole career, no matter what area you're going into. What was our schedule? Contracts, property, and torts our first semester. And then constitutional law, civil procedure, and criminal law our second semester.
Interesting.
And first semester was rough. It was a rough time. I surprisingly liked property the most, but it had everything to do with the professor and nothing to do with the subject material.
Okay.
Which classes I liked and didn't like was pretty much entirely dependent on the professor. You don't have to like name any names, but do you have professors who you're just like, this is not working for me?
Definitely. And okay, especially since like I've transitioned to be mostly online, there's professors that people really love and like they vibe in class, but the vibe online is totally different. So I take the class online, so I get the online vibe. I fell in love with that professor in person, and then online I'm just like indifferent. Like, not that he's a bad professor, but like it just is not the same like connection. I do like some professors and I like the way that they teach, but I don't really like you said, I don't love like hearing them say anything really. Just
let's talk about that. Like, you went into law school knowing it was going to be online.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. I don't know why you did that.
So when I applied to law school and made the decision to go to law school, all the corona stuff didn't really happen yet. But as the corona stuff started happening, I was like, wow, this could my reality could be online for law school. Thankfully, SLU at first, they were like, we'll probably do some in-person classes, and that's how it ended up being. Some of the professors taught from home via Zoom, and some were in person. But regardless, all of the classes were Zoomed, and you could choose if you wanted to be in person or online. At first, I was in person, and I took all of my classes in person. But then I just transition to online because I felt like I was kind of wasting time going to campus when I could really just like wake up, do work, and then like my day would just end earlier.
The one thing I like about online is that lack of travel time. I mean,
Yes.
I don't live that far from my school.
Mhm.
It's like a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
But it is nice to not have to be there at 7:30 in the morning with my dumb evidence class.
Exactly.
So I literally wake up maybe 5 minutes before that class starts. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
what's happening?
where am I?
I have one professor who I did not hear great things about. And they're like, oh yeah, he sucks. Even like alumni who I'd been talking to, they're like, oh, who do you have? And it's someone who's been teaching there a while. And they're like, yeah, not a fan, don't like him. I love him. I think he's great. I don't know if it's like online really suits him. He's like much more casual maybe than normal. I don't know. I've never seen him in person. So I don't know if that plays a factor for a lot of people, if that's just like my experience, or what it would be the other way around. But I'm certainly glad that this is happening my 2L year, not my 1L year.
Yeah.
Because I've had some idea of how law school should work, and I can try to implement that as much as possible. Have you encountered any unexpected difficulties being online as a 1L?
So I honestly think my saving grace was the fact that I was online for the first week or two, or I was in person for the first week or two because I got to meet people. Like I was able to form study groups if I wanted to. So I feel like I really didn't miss the like social connection.
Yeah.
But I will say it is very interesting, like being cold called online versus in person. Like I feel like the cold call experience is not the same. Like I have yet to have like a negative cold call experience. Probably just because it's more
knock on wood
relaxed.
real quick
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
So they call on you, and then you have a chance to like collect yourself, unmute yourself, and then go. It's not like they're just like looking directly at you. And I feel like the lack of eye contact also helps.
Not everyone turns to like look at you.
Exactly.
No, I mean, I will say I never felt like any judgment in my in-person classes last year when I felt like I did or didn't do well on a cold call. Like no one cares. You care a lot in person,
Yeah.
but no one else does. And online, that's even more true, especially because a lot of them can't enforce it. I'm not advocating for this, but no one can say that you're lying if you just say my camera and my mic don't work today. Sorry. That's nice that you were able to start in person though and actually meet people because at WashU, they only have one, I think one else can take one class in person if they want to. And I know a lot of them have complained of having basically no social interaction because they're not allowed to like sit next to each other or talk to each other. They have to walk in a certain direction through the school.
Yeah, I mean those are the same rules that they have at SLU. Like it's very like you have to be 6 feet apart at all times. You have to wear your mask at all times. So like even meeting people was hard because like I'm not a good person like memorizing names anyway, but like trying to memorize the face from like here up was also very difficult.
Well, I think that's gonna be it for this half of the video. It's not over though, so if you're still here, click the link in the description below to go over to our video on Alexis's channel, and we will see you over there. Until then, God bless.
See you later.